How often have you found yourself constrained or limited or stuck in some particular issue or challenge that you might be facing in your business world? And you're trying to figure out, well, what is the way through, right? How can we create better possibilities and get unstuck or create the breakthrough that we need? And this is where the power of provocation comes in. And the benefit of the power of provocation is it unleashes new possibilities that weren't there before, right? So what do we mean by provocation? Well, provocation is really a question or an idea that stimulates curiosity, right? And the benefit is it actually does unleash new possibilities that weren't present before. So the question becomes, well, how might we go about doing that?
And for me, there's probably a number of ways of doing that, but if we're going to provoke people into possibilities where they see none right now, right? We're going to have to interrupt the predominant way of thinking about the challenge at hand. And to disrupt, literally, when you Google the definition, it means to the natural order of things. The order of things is disturbed. And so oftentimes we hear the word disruption or to disrupt in the context of business models or the larger, kind of geopolitical landscape and what gets disrupted, right, socioeconomically. And while that is true, we can also positively disrupt predominant ways of thinking or exploring what we might be able to put into place as a breakthrough approach to a challenge through the artful use of inquiry and advocacy. Inquiry being really the art of questioning, right, to provoke people into new possibilities where they haven't seen any, or advocacy, and even more particularly in the realm of advocating a particular direction, making an assertion that interrupts the predominant assessment of a situation. And so let me give you a couple examples. I mean, these are perhaps strategies you're already utilizing, so this may validate what you're already doing, and it's really the repetition of these and the artful use of these that can make the difference in my humble experience. So one is using questions where we're inviting that curiosity that you mentioned. So it often starts out with, I'm curious, what if we were to do X, Y, Z, right? So when the group is kind of, especially if you're part of a team that's starting to go down kind of a spiral, and it's not necessarily positively moving people forward, it's almost like kind of negatively declining, and it might be reducing our impact, narrowing our focus, then using that phrase intentionally, I'm curious, before we agree on that as our path forward, I'm wondering what if we did A, B, C? And then you're intentionally kind of challenging a new direction. The other question might be something around what's possible now that wasn't before. So when a disruption actually hits us, oftentimes we again limit our perception of what the next steps could be. And oftentimes with my clients, we'll sit and brainstorm, what are 15 things that are possible now that were not possible yesterday at this time? And it lends itself to some really new, fresh thinking. So those are two examples of questions. On the assertion side, it may be as simple as saying, before we move forward, I believe there's a golden nugget in this dialogue that we have not yet spotted. And when we do, it's going to make all the difference. Now, you may not have any clue what that golden nugget is, but you're just making an assertion and that interrupts the predominant way of thinking. And it might then get everybody on a kind of, scavenger hunt for what that golden nugget is. The second might be an assertion such as, I think we need to be bolder here. We have a much bolder, much more courageous path forward than what we're taking. And it's an assertion that says, through this belief that it's interrupting the predominant way of thinking. Those are two simple kinds of examples, both on the questioning and the assertion side. But I find that often will provoke people to kind of challenge their predominant assumptions and step into new, fresher ways of approaching it, and maybe new possibilities that they didn't see before.
Yeah, beautiful. When you think about questions and assertions, we all know how to do this, right? These are ways of moving forward. And this, focus of using questions and assertions is powerful to provoke new ideas. So for you who are watching this video, what might be one challenge in the short term that you can directly apply this power of provocation for your situation, right? Will it be for you a different question of curiosity, right? Will it be an assertion, an assessment of what's going on, and a bold assertion, maybe something like Leanne has mentioned? And you likely need to be doing this a lot more than you're doing it today, right? There's so much going on in the world today, and we tend to get narrow in our thinking in terms of, our frame of the world and our default patterns and beliefs around this is the way things are. So for you as a leader to be able to put this into practice, say daily, at least one time in a day on a small, medium, or large event, how could you use the power of provocation to stimulate curiosity and to create new possibilities that will honor you, the team, and the organization that you serve? So please put this into practice, and we'd love to hear how it's going for you.